Hi everyone, welcome to Alberta Pod with one more episode, and today I have a very special guest. My name is Deborah, as you all know by this time. I've been talking with multiple different people from over the globe, so they are telling me their story, and we are trying to help people who are thinking to move here or who moved here and still struggle. So to give them some hope and maybe they can relate with what we went through. So today I have Gifty. Yes, she's Gifty. So she came here a couple of years ago, and she's gonna tell you guys a little bit of her story. How was her journey until here?
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
So my name is Gifty, and I moved to Canada about 18 years ago, so 2006 to be exact. And I moved here when I was 16 years old. So I started off with high school, did grade 12, and ever since then I've lived in Canada my entire life till now. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, 16 years old.
Yes.
16 years old. So how did you come here? Like with who? You came alone? How did you guys think, okay, you need to go to Canada? How your family did that
Come up with it.
decision?
Okay. Yeah. So in terms of me coming to Canada, my parents more or less made the decision for me. It's quite normal for like our background. I'm from Nigeria, by the way. You mentioned that. Yes, I'm from Nigeria. So it's quite normal for us. Our parents make a lot of decisions for us while we're younger, to help just guide us the right way. And when I finished what was equivalent to grade 12 in Nigeria, I was 16 years old when that happened. And the plan was to move to Canada to continue my education. But moving to Canada, I was too young to go to university because that was more or less the next step. So my parents sent me over here to repeat grade 12. And then I turned 17, and because I'm 17 going on 18 in university, I'll be okay to go to university.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So you came alone.
Yes, I more or less came alone, sort of. I can give more details into that. So basically, I came alone, but through what we call agencies. So
Oh, okay.
back home, we have different agencies that help bring people from Nigeria over to Canada. They help streamline the process. So they do the application for you, they tell you where you can stay, what schools are available. They just provide all the information, and all you have to do is provide financial resources, and they
Okay.
provide just the information without you having to do all the background work on your own. Yeah.
Okay. So the James, they find a place to you to live. Do you live like with a family, or do you live like in I don't know, with a roommate or in the university? How?
It depends. So for me, because I was going to high school, I more or less did a homestay setup.
Oh, okay.
So I stayed with a family, and there was a lot of us that used the same program. They use
Okay.
the same agency. So we more or less knew ourselves because we used the same agency. We are going to the same high school.
Okay.
So we all lived together in the same house. For people that went to college, they were advised on where to find maybe like a room in the house or stay on campus, and just letting them know how much they had to pay for that. So that information was
Okay.
provided prior to them arriving in
Oh,
Canada.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did have like a little friends from back home, weren't you?
No, not really. I would say more or less I was on my own because I
Oh,
came here
okay.
not knowing anyone. I have siblings, left everyone at home, and I came here, so I had to make new friends as I was
Oh,
here in
okay.
Canada. Yeah.
How was the process for you? Like, you find out it was hard? You're very easygoing, so was that hard for you to make friends, or you did okay? I mean, I get it. I'll do it.
Making friends, it had its challenges because I mean there's a different cultural aspect to how things are back home versus in Nigeria versus in Canada. So at first it was really tough. And I where I lived and where I went to high school was a really, really, really small town. or a small city to be exact, a very small city. So there are a lot of, Black people.
Oh yeah.
There really weren't a lot of Black people. I think the entire population of the school was maybe 500, maybe 300 students. And out of all the students that were there were only about 10 of us that were Black.
Okay.
Yes, it was really small.
Okay.
It was really, really small. And most of the people that were Black followed the same program I went through.
Okay.
There was only one person that was, I think she was Sudanese, so she was born here, grown up here.
Okay.
The rest of us all came
Okay.
from Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 That's so in Brazil we have most of the population Black.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go to private school,
Mm-hmm.
it's only like two or three Blacks, and then everybody's white
Yeah.
because of the inequality.
Mm-hmm.
So like I get it how the difference aspect of it.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so since you did the high school here,
Mm-hmm.
You already knew English, right? So
Yeah.
you get English is the first language
Yes.
in Nigeria as well.
Yes.
So you're lucky or not, I don't know. Because I struggle a lot when I
Okay.
came in. I
Yeah.
still struggle. My English is not that great.
It sounds great to me.
Yeah, I'm getting better, but it's hard. That's why I'm doing a video podcast.
Yeah.
That's a good tip, guys. Talk.
Yes.
You're gonna get better.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot of. I miss a lot of the grammar. I'm still learning. But so if the language was not like a struggle, communication wasn't that bad.
Relatively within reason, because when I came, I had a Nigerian accent.
Okay.
So that was something I had to navigate. I didn't think that, I mean, I could speak English perfectly well, but somehow with the accent,
Oh yeah, it's a strong accent.
Yes.
You don't have as much now.
It's pretty much disappeared right
Yeah,
now. It's no longer there anymore.
Yeah, I have some Nigerian friends. They have like
It's a really strong, it's a really strong accent. And I remember I struggled in class. There was a particular class, I still can't remember this. It's 18 years later, but I still remember this. I was in a social science class, and I had to read something. I know the teacher told me to read something out to the class, and I pronounced the word the wrong way. And he literally, you know, I don't think he meant to do it on purpose, but basically he was trying to correct me, and I was standing holding the book, and he was correcting me. And in my mind, I was like, I know I'm saying it the right way, but then he still corrects me on how to say it. So I felt like I was made to stand out to the class.
Yeah.
And I felt a little embarrassed because it was just a reminder that, like, okay, your accent really, really stands out. And it's still a memory that sticks with me. And I remember after that, when that scenario happened, as much as I knew how to speak English, it made me feel like I really did not know how to speak English.
So it blocked a little bit.
Yes, it made me pull back a little bit, and then my mindset was like, okay, I have to find a way of changing my accent so I can fit into the environment. I know it sounds horrible, but it's the honest truth, and I felt that day.
Oh yeah. No, like it's not as weird for me because in Brazil we have different Portuguese accent everywhere we go. So if you live in like the big cities, you need to speak that way. We see a lot of that in like in the TV shows.
Yeah.
Actors, they need to change the way that they talk.
Yeah.
To be like with what the society asks. But yeah, I think people now because of the diversity that's going on, like people are getting more that okay, it's just the accent. We just need to work a little bit to understand the accent difference. I worked a lot when I was learning. I used to call public spaces. So I used to call Zoom space to ask questions. So I dealt with a lot of immigrants from different places, India, China, Nigeria, like so I'm really good in understand accent. And I'm not good, like I don't know my accent, of course, but I'm really good in understand the difference.
Yeah.
I think that's why when I got to work at Walmart, they promoted me fast because
That's
Walmart, the word work is Walmart,
So many
right?
different people.
So it's like different background and
Mhm.
stuff. So I think they promoted that so I could deal with like different cultures.
Yeah.
And that was a really great way to
Yeah.
learn the accent.
Oh,
But yeah,
absolutely.
but I guess the difficult to, and as a teenager, like in
Yes.
high school, that must be tough. Like,
It was,
yeah,
it was definitely tough, and not having your family or anyone that you could talk to. Like, I just went through this in
yeah,
school, and then if your parents are around, they would probably reaffirm that you're okay, it's fine, don't let anyone intimidate you. But I didn't really have a lot of that, so mentally I was like, okay, I need to find a way to fit in. And I remember I used to practice. I think I was Google around. I know I used to like Google things, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch videos, and it's like practice how to pronounce this word so you can pronounce it properly. It sounds ridiculous now, but that's the honest
it's not
truth.
ridiculous. That's the way we do, like to
Yeah.
survive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was your way to do it. And
Yes.
like dealing with that as a teenager, I think emotionally
Yeah.
would be like a difficult
Yes.
process because you kind of grew up uh faster than other
Pretty
kids,
much, yeah.
right? So how was it like for you when you got to college?
Mhm.
Because people come from high school like you did, but you
Yeah.
were a little bit more mature.
Mhm.
How was it for you like did you like stand out a little bit to match up with them, or you just
Do you mean in high school?
no going into college?
Going into college.
Yeah. After high school.
Okay, so going to university after high school, it was different because with university, I more or less moved out of the
Oh, okay.
homestay setup. So I did not have the adults that was above me.
Oh,
So
okay.
I had to find a place on my own. I moved to a whole city I've never been to in my life ever.
Okay.
So I did all my research, got on a bus, and I was dropped off at the airport. Got to I went to U of A. That's where I started. So got to Edmonton and found a place. Luckily, one of the people that I lived with in the
Okay.
homestay was also going to U of A, so we both found a place together. So that
Okay.
was really
That
nice.
was yeah.
Yes, but we were taking two completely different programs, so we ended up going to class separately. One thing that nobody really tells you about is high school is very different from university.
Oh yeah.
Very, very different. With high school, if you don't show up to class, there's like attendance has been taken. If you're late, there's a note written on your reports and all of that. University, nobody cares.
Nobody
You
cares.
show up, you don't show up, nobody
It's
cares.
up to
Nobody
you.
tells you what
You
to do.
have to get the grades. So
Yes,
you have to
figure
out.
things out by yourself. So it was very, very different. The classroom setup was also very different, coming from a very small high school where there are like what, maybe 15, 20 students in the classroom to having like 500 students in a classroom. And then having to learn how to listen to the instructor, try not to be distracted. There was a lot that. It was a massive change in the span of like
The
a year.
excitement.
Yes, and there's a little bit of
more like
excitement as well. Like, oh,
university,
yes, I'm in
right?
university. I can do things on my own. On my own. This is a bigger city compared to the smallest city I came from. A lot to explore. So yes, there was a bit of an extra shock again that came my way with that, but it was good as well. But there wasn't. I wish I was more or less prepared. Like you need to go to class. You need to even figuring out how classes worked was a whole other thing as well. So there was a lot I was not aware of, but it took time and I got to learn.
You know, even like for me, I came in as adult, right?
Mhm.
I already went to university in Brazil.
Mhm.
Even for me, it was very different
Yeah.
because in Brazil, the teacher they teach,
Yeah.
like the instructor, they instruct like every step of the way. They are like they take attendance.
Yep.
They do it like it counts as a points in the university as
Mhm.
well. So because most of the good university are public in
Mhm.
Brazil, the private ones are the one that is not as good as the
Oh,
public.
interesting.
So it's different.
Yeah.
Like the school, high school, elementary school, the public school like are not that great.
Yeah, but private is good.
Private's good. So what happens is the rich people go to the public school, and the
Yes.
poor still have to pay the private.
Wow.
That's the inequality of trade.
Interesting.
So we are trying to change it now
Yeah.
with the affirmative project and stuff,
Mhm.
because uh, who works more than people who goes to public school
Yeah.
because they have to work outside the
Yeah.
home, and so we're trying to change that now. But for me, it was like very different because here my college was like 100% practice, and you do by yourself. So I didn't have like the teacher to ask questions all the time. In Brazil, you ask questions all the time.
Yeah.
The teacher are with you.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit different for me, and the workload is too heavy, I think.
The workload is a lot.
It's a lot of
It's a lot.
stuff because you were already here and you didn't have any kids, which is great
No.
for you.
Yeah.
I think. But you did in university, right?
Yes.
It was not college. It's
So
different, right?
I kind of did both. So to give you a quick summary, my education is very interesting. Started off with high school, went to university for a year. After a year of university, ended up in college for a year because first year of university didn't go well. That's the summary. Ended up in college for a year. After 1 year of college, went back to university again. Spent 4 years in university and then graduated. And
Yeah. Yeah, I did the only college because I already had university, and I had to do one discipline again. I did math twice, like basic math, which is ridiculous.
I know.
But I didn't understand how they asked the questions.
Oh.
So was the English was
that
the
was
problem.
yeah, but the actual math was
The math
good.
was not, I'm good at math, but the English I couldn't like understand the way there were questions.
Yeah.
Then I had to learn how they
Ask the questions.
they asked the questions
Yeah.
to answer in the right way. So like English again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Little things
I
like
did
that.
like advanced statistics was pretty well, like A plus, and then math, basic math.
Yeah.
I had to do it again just because of the English, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's different. So what did you study?
So what I ended up graduating with, after the whole merry-go-round from college to university and all of that, ended up with a geology degree.
Yeah, which is great for math.
Yeah.
For Alberta in general,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. But you finished in Manitoba.
Yes,
not
I finished in Manitoba,
Alberta.
not in Alberta.
Okay. And then you came here to get your PGO.
Yes.
So now, how from the university you did, your college and high school, did you make friends like for life?
That's a very good question. I made friends, but I didn't make Canadian-born friends. I definitely don't have any Canadian-born friends. Most of my friends have very similar experiences to me, so they're immigrants from Nigeria or from other countries. So I wouldn't say I've made friends for life completely because life keeps changing. I keep moving. Things just keep changing basically with me.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm just asking because when I feel like when I miss home, I remember my friends back home.
Yeah.
I could be playing soccer with my friends and this stuff. And here in Canada, I did like a couple of good friends that I can go to Europe and they're still my friend. But that helps you to make roots, right?
It does.
In a place.
It does.
So that's why I'm asking because it's been like 17 years.
Yes, it's been a really long time. I mean, I've gone through cycles of friendships. Some of the friends I currently have right now, I would say I became friends with them in 2017, 2016.
Okay.
And I just had like a lot happen in my life prior to that. So all the people I knew prior to that are no longer a part of my life right now.
Okay.
But the friends I currently have right now, I knew them in Manitoba. And they're brand new people, never met them before. We met at church and we have more or less remained friends till now. The only thing is I don't live in Manitoba anymore. So, I mean, we're still friends, but there's a bit of a strain when you're not in the same city or the same province. Yeah.
How was it like in the early days that you came here? Like when teenager, of course you're excited to go to another country, go to America. Everybody wants to go to America. But how was it like the first year without the family for you?
Okay, so I wasn't excited to come to Canada.
So you were like me.
I was not excited, and not because I did not want to come. The truth is, I didn't even know it was coming.
Oh.
So I more or less graduated from high school in Nigeria, and like a month later or so, my parents were like, "Oh, you're moving to Canada." And I remember the first question I asked them was, "Where's Canada?"
Like,
I was like, "Where?
show me
What do
the
you
map.
mean? Yeah,
Like,
what do you mean by that?" Because I already had plans. I was going to go to university in Nigeria. There are a bunch of exams we write. I passed them, applied to universities, and I had plans that I was going to be in Nigeria with my friends and all of that. And like I said, parents have a really big, play a huge role in your life when you're a child in Nigeria versus like when you get older, then they still have some influence, but
they still
but
that, yeah,
they still
but
have some influence, but
that
not as
change,
much.
yeah.
Yeah. So the plan was I was going to go to Canada, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, what do you mean by that? This is like a shock. And it was like, oh, it's happening in a few months. You're going to be going there. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, it was a lot. I remember I had to sign some documents. I think they're legal documents and stuff, and I refused to sign them because I was like,
Oh.
what is going on? Like, what is happening?
I asked for a divorce when my husband told me
Yeah.
that we're coming to Canada.
Yes.
Okay, I think we should go. I said, no, you can go alone. I stay here with my son. With a whole, yeah, a lot of things happening.
Yes.
So I decided to come, but
Yeah. It
was
takes a lot to leave behind
I can
everything. And it's
imagine
like,
like
what
as
is
a
going on?
teenager, like yeah.
And I was going alone. I was like, okay, nobody's coming with me. What is happening?
Yeah. So yeah, that must be like
Yeah.
oh that was tough. Do you do what do you miss from Nigeria?
Family,
Family?
food, environment. There's a lot like community type mentality. Uh, it's very isolating in Canada. There's a very isolating type of environment here. And don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of efforts put into trying to help people integrate into the environment and into the society over here. But in as much it's can be very isolating. Don't get me wrong, they're very nice people you work with, all of that, but beyond that, there's nothing that still integrates your lives into with each other. Back home, everybody knows their neighbor. I live in an apartment in Manitoba for what, almost 8 or 7 years. Never knew my neighbor.
Yeah.
Not even their name, nothing. Saw them maybe once in a while, never knew them. And it's almost practically impossible that you live in Nigeria and you don't know your neighbor.
Yeah.
Almost, it's like practically
Yeah,
impossible.
in Brazil,
Yes.
yeah, because everybody, if you miss something in your home, you gotta
Mhm.
ask your neighbor.
Mhm.
You have like your neighbor that gives you sugar if you
Thank
miss
you.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Little
Yeah.
things like that. So, and even my cousins, I think I had my cousins live like a couple blocks away. My baby brother could like walk over there. We could just drop him off. He goes to play soccer. They had like a little field in the corner. He goes to play soccer. We call him. It's time to come back home. Little things like that. We don't really get a lot of that here. So unless you find people, like I said, that have similar experiences to you, that you can still
That's
relate
why
with.
it's so hard to get, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I understand that. I do have like some Canadian friends.
Mm-hmm.
Not here in Fort Mac yet. I'm making try to make some, but in Calgary, I made some good friends that lived in South America for a while, so
Nice.
they understand a little bit of our environment.
Yeah.
So I have this friend Nicole. She's from this Canadian, but she lived in Chile for a while. So Chile is South America,
Mm-hmm.
and her husband is from Chile.
Oh,
So they have the South America
yes vibe.
vibe. So they got that, and we met because our sons started studying together in
Nice.
daycare.
Yeah.
So they became friends. They still friends. So when we go to Calgary, we always see
Mhm.
each other. But it is hard to make friends
Yes.
outside of your community
Yes.
environment.
Yes.
Even within the community now, I'm finding that because people are trying to live as Canadian, like
Mm-hmm.
so they're trying to live like isolate us.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we are trying to integrate into the community here.
Yes.
We do our best.
We do our best. We do our best.
Do you find that nowadays it's better to find our food from back home here?
Now it's better. I'm going. I've had this conversation with other Nigerians, and I personally am very comfortable not eating specifically Nigerian food. I'm okay with just about anything. So food was not really much of an issue for me. But people that I've spoken to that are Nigerian and specifically enjoy Nigerian food, my previous roommate, she told me that the first year she came here, she almost did not eat anything because she went to the grocery store and she was just lost. She was like, I don't know what to do. Like, what is this? The basic things, at least rice, you can recognize rice, tomatoes, things like that. And we cook with a lot of fresh ingredients. So, but most of it was just very confusing. It was like, what is going on? Even a grocery store. I remember the first time I went to a grocery store, I didn't understand what I was looking at.
Yeah, for me, grocery store is like a shopping mall.
Yes. There's a lot going on. But it's a lot easier now for people to find food that is specifically like Nigerian food or even African food in general, because now we're having more specialty stores that cater to African food. The only downside is that when you compare it to the prices for Canadian food, it's more expensive. Way more expensive.
Yeah,
that's a little bit of a downside. So they found a way, like most people I speak to, found a way to balance things out. You still get sometimes when you get to eat your meals, and then sometimes where you still integrate basic staple things that you can find in a standard grocery store. Yeah.
I found that in Calgary I used to go to a lot of African store because we have similar food.
Yeah.
Even though Africa a little bit more spicy than ours more sweet, but we could find like some flavors there that we do like some. We have something called farofa that's made of a flavor that I only could find in African store.
Yeah.
And for my hair too.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything.
Oh, the hair.
Because I had a big hair, right?
Yeah.
I lost my hair recently. But when I had my big hair, oh my God, it was so difficult to find products to use it. And I only found in an African store. So it saved me a while.
Yes. Hair products, I definitely have to speak on that. I remember when I was still like a teenager for maybe the first 4 or 5 years, and back home you had people always making your hair. That was how we grew up in Nigeria. You go to the salon or someone comes over to your house and they like braid your hair and do all of that. Very hard to find someone that could do that. Luckily, I could find this very expensive as well. Well, luckily I could make hair, so that's kind of helped. But then the problem was finding products that I could actually use. Most of the products you go to, for example, Shoppers Drug Mart, and I tried them out. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me try it out and see what it's like. It doesn't do what you want it to do. And so I'm just like, this is not working for me. And it was a struggle, a major struggle. And I remember like if I were able to find a product that was really good, I would cherish it so much and keep it for as long as I could. And my hair really suffered for it. My hair went through a lot, but now I've come to, with African stores now, you can find food, you can find hair products, you can find a bunch of different things. So it's been really,
and
really
there's
helpful.
also the water when you shower.
Yes.
You need to have a filter.
Yes.
Because it affects our hair.
It affects our hair deeply. And I think even in Alberta here, we have hard water. So not the best water for your hair, really. So
for everybody.
Yeah, for anybody. Really.
Like,
your skin, even it's not the best for your skin either.
Yeah, I found that hard for me too. Okay, so we talk about what you missed from back home.
Yeah.
What do you find it's better in Canada, in Nigeria?
Oh, there's quite a list.
Quite a list? Okay, that's good.
So I'll start off with, for example, we have consistent electricity here. As long as you pay your bills, you're going to have the electricity. Yeah. So there's that, which is really nice. Things are quite organized, and things that are scheduled are more or less on time. We don't use the time.
Oh, okay.
Like, for example, getting the bus. I know, like, when we moved here, most of us that lived together in the homestay, getting the bus was a bit of an issue because when it says it's going to be there at 9 a.m., you better be there at 9 a.m.
Exactly.
So that was the thing we had to learn. But it's really nice because it helps you know how to plan in advance. So if you want to plan, it's really, really helpful. I know back home, you kind of went through things with the feel. There was a feel to things. There wasn't really a lot of planning. So you could have a whole list and you might not get most of it done. So there's that. What else again? Things are really nice. It's really nice that there's the safety. So safety here is a lot better, unfortunately. That's something that we're still struggling with back home. So there's a lot of kidnappings and a lot of weird stuff just going on back home. But here, safety is pretty good. Yeah. So yeah.
Like in comparison.
Yes.
We know that people complain that it's growing, it's unsafe, but they don't know
No,
what's...
no. You can't compare.
It is,
no, it's a lot safer over here.
It's not even fair.
Yes. Even like down to emergency services, like calling the police, 911, things like that. You call them, they're very effective. You know, they do their job accordingly. Back home, you have to do little things like bribery. You might call them and they might end up siding with the person that hurt you if they have more money to pay the police. So there's a lot of extra little things like that. So it's really nice that, at least for the most part, emergency services and public services are very effective. Yeah, and they do their job accordingly.
Yeah, that's something that I always say when people ask, "Oh, why did you leave Brazil? Brazil is awesome." We have the violence in there, we have stuff, and the common, like the common use, like the roads.
Yes.
The hospitals, the public space are not like the infrastructure are not that great, and here they focus on that, like the common sense is like if everybody's using it, let's keep it good. So the park, to go to park, the parks are nice. And if happens an issue, they will isolate the area and work on that issue. So I find that that's like a huge difference.
Very huge difference, absolutely.
Like and that helps us organize. But we do get late. Oh, we do. We call you kind of Africa time. We call it the black part. If you're from Rio in Brazil, you can get on time. It's crazy. We do get late, but we are working on that.
We're working on it. We're definitely a lot better now that we're here.
We are getting better. I have to relearn how to drive, to slow down.
Really?
Because in Rio, we don't stop in the signs, right?
Oh.
It's very dangerous. Like, when you pass like 10 p.m., we don't stop in the no, it's like a robbery situation. So I have to relearn how to drive, how to even walk, like slow down the pace. If you see a shadow on the floor, you're gonna think, okay, somebody's coming on. So I have to relearn how to feel like safe, which was great when coming to Canada.
Wow.
It's very different. And like, is it different even like as a Brazilian and as a black person in Brazil? It's like two different aspects. And as a woman as well. So it's like a lot of
layers
that I have to, it's difficult. And things that I find funny sometimes when I see people on social media talking. I left my door open, somebody went in and robbed it. I said, don't let your door open. That we learn in Brazil, like,
I know.
You don't let anything open. So that's stuff that I still like, okay, we have the sense of safety, even though like people complain. We understand, but we have some safety.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with all of this, are you happy that your dad and mom did that decision for you now as an adult? Now that, like, if you think back, okay, I would have made that decision for my child or not. How?
That's a very tough question for me,
know.
Honestly. That's a really tough question.
Like, because maybe they could have done it in a different way. With the same purpose. Because I think, Nigeria, I think Brazilians too are very direct in some of the hard decisions that happen. So even like if you're a parent from a black family in Brazil, it's different from a white. So if because my husband grew up with his mom, she was very like severe, like very strict with him. I'm telling you to do it, you do it. You better do it. So in Brazil, black boys usually work from early ages.
Oh wow. Okay.
They start working at 7, 8. They
Mhm.
go to help mom, so they go sell candies outside.
Yeah.
So, and people would say to her, "Do that with your son, so he can help you out at home."
Mhm.
And she said, "No, he's gonna go study."
Mhm.
So they're very strict with him,
Yeah.
which helped him a lot to grow,
Mhm.
but on the other hand, kept him a little bit
Sheltered.
baby, yeah, sheltered
Oh.
mama baby.
Mhm.
So for him, grew up like a little bit emotionally
Yeah.
close to his friend.
Yeah.
Took a while
Yeah.
because she sheltered him,
Mhm.
which we do as a black woman.
Yeah.
I would do with my son if I was there.
Yeah.
I had like a plan because every 11 minutes in Brazil, a black boy dies.
Oh, no.
Every 11. So that happens. So we like, as a black mom, we try to keep the boys,
Yeah.
try to teach them how to walk on the street
Yeah.
and do stuff. So I think I would do the same thing, but she did that way with him, and then he studied and got his degree, which is very rare in Brazil
Yeah.
for the boys.
Yeah.
And that made him to want to leave.
Mhm.
So he was the one that was like,
Oh,
I
push it.
want to leave.
Yeah.
I want something
Something
different for
better.
my family.
Yeah.
And he had a brother who died in Brazil with a disease, was nothing bad. And they were like always talking about moving out of the country. So he had this feeling. That's why he took the decision. And now, like, we had a hardship to come here because I didn't want to come. But now that the past 7 years, I'm feeling that, okay, we did the right
decision. Yeah.
So for you, do you think like if they did in a different way, maybe I don't know, take a while for you to maybe kept telling you, okay, when you grow up, you're gonna go to maybe
for
or
me,
not?
I mean, I wouldn't rewrite my story that I have right now. I'm really grateful and thankful for the story I have. But certain things that I think would have been different or I would have preferred, maybe if I moved here, I was a lot older. Maybe if I moved where like I was married and
with your family,
with a family setup, I would have really loved that because being here on your own, not the easiest thing to do. So that's the only few things I would have changed. But do I regret coming here? No.
No.
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be here because I know there are a lot of people back home that would love to have what I have. So I'm not going to minimize the opportunity that has been given to me and I've been blessed with. So I'm really grateful and thankful to Canada. I mean, now I'm a Canadian citizen, which is a really amazing thing. Opens up a lot of doors for you, places that you want to go to, access to a lot of things that most people could only dream of, basically. And yeah, it's really helped my family as well. Like my nephew, he was born a Canadian citizen, which only started with the opportunity of me being here. And then slowly bringing every other family member.
That's good to know too because you were like the bridge.
Yeah.
For very right.
Yes.
If you think that like your parents was the bridge, they forced you to come, and then you were here. Now you're like the bridge for everything that happens. Do it for the other thing. So that's great too.
Yeah.
Okay, so no regrets. Why do you know? I don't know if you know why they choose Alberta because you first come to Alberta.
No,
so why you chose Alberta?
Oh, that's a whole other story as well. Okay, summary of why I chose Alberta. Actually, I was in Manitoba, so I was doing my second BSc, and I made friends with someone. He's from Pakistan. So he moved to Alberta. I had no clue. We hadn't spoken in a while. And out of the blue, he calls me and he's like, oh, I know you studied geology and I'm working for a company and I think they need geologists. You should apply or something. And never heard of Fort Mac, by the way. Though most of the places that most people hear of is Calgary and Edmonton in Alberta. Or maybe Grand Prairie, I've heard of Grand Prairie and a few other places, never heard of Fort Mac. And I was like, okay, sure, no problem. And I applied. And more or less, that's how I found out about Fort Mac. And that's how I moved over here. But I know deep down, I always wanted to leave in Alberta. I mean, when I started university, I went to U of A at first, which was in Alberta before moving to Manitoba There's a whole story behind that, but we'll get into that. But I lived in Manitoba for a very long time, but eventually I was like, I know I'm meant to be in Alberta, and yeah, I'm back here again.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Have you had the opportunity to get to know further Alberta, like Banff, Canmore,
Yeah.
Jasper?
Oh, I've been traveling a bit
Yeah.
around Alberta. I've been to Banff. I passed through Jasper. I've been to Canmore. I've been to uh, Grand Prairie before, but that was a long time ago. Not Lloydminster. I've forgotten the name of the place. I can't remember the name of the place, but I've been there. It's like about 4 hours away from Calgary. Been to Edmonton as well.
Oh, Drumheller, maybe?
Close to Drumheller, but it's
Okay.
not Drumheller. But I heard Lethbridge, that's the name.
Lethbridge,
It's
okay.
Lethbridge. So I've been traveling a bit here and there. So it's been
So
really,
you know
really
more
nice.
than me. I don't know about that day.
Yeah. So
I went to the Banff, Canmore, and
Mhm.
Jasper. That was
Yeah.
it. And then Calgary and Fort Mac. Oh, I went to Edmonton,
There you
but
go.
I didn't go I didn't
really
know
go
the
around.
city around, but yeah, that's how we know. Yeah. Which place did you like the most?
Of all the places I've stayed, Calgary.
Calgary.
I really like Calgary. I grew up in a city. I'm a city
I
person.
mean, you're young, right?
Yeah,
That's
and
why.
Fort Mac is really small. As much as
It
I
is,
love the
it is.
opportunity I've been given over here, I love it. But I love a city life.
Yeah.
That's my preference.
If I was single and young, I
Mhm.
wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was talking with my husband. Like, we need to find something that for the youth to do here. They don't
Yeah.
have anything to do
Yeah.
here. Either they like apply to sports,
Mhm.
but if you're like if they're nerdy or
Yeah.
stuff, they don't have
There's
anything.
nothing else. Yeah.
There's nothing else. So let's see what I come up with.
Yeah.
I was thinking so.
Keep coming up with ideas,
Come
and
with
something has to
ideas.
work
Because
eventually.
because the youth they're gonna leave eventually
Yeah.
because there's no way they will
Yeah.
stay like -30
Yeah.
with nothing to do,
Yeah.
right?
And I know a lot of people, especially when you're young and you have a lot of energy, it's like I would rather go where there's fun, even if I don't make a lot of money, as long as I'm able
Yeah.
to have fun and live my life, you'd rather do that than
Yeah.
stay here.
Exactly. Okay. If you can find a word
Mhm.
to define your life here.
Ooh. Ah, exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the word I'm going to use because there's been a lot of ups, there's been a lot of downs. Sometimes I wanted to give up. I just like I want to just be done with this.
I want to go for 40 degree, please. Right? I want to go for 40
I still don't like winter, no matter how much you try to. I still do not like winter, but I would say excited, and also I wish I could use two words. Grateful will be the other word I'll use, honestly,
Grateful.
because in spite of all the things I've been through, disappointments, things I thought were going to work out did not work out. I'm still very grateful for everything that has brought me to where I am right now. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So grateful is the word.
Yes.
I'll be back.
Do you have that?
I have gratitude.
That's good enough.
For you to take to your home.
Thank
can
you.
There's no stick you
Gratitude.
need to glue or just put it somewhere.
Yeah.
You can glue. Gratitude. That's the
Yes.
word that you brought for everybody who came into the
Oh,
podcast.
that's nice. That's nice.
Because I think at the end of the day, like at the end of everything, I think that's what we felt like
Yeah.
in common. Like
Yes.
we're grateful for the opportunities,
Yeah.
right? Of course, we have the ups and downs. I had so many. You had a lot.
Yeah.
But we're making it, right?
Yeah, we're making it
we're
work.
doing better than we thought that
Yes.
would be,
Yeah.
right? And I think good things are gonna be for your future.
Yes,
You're very
absolutely.
smart, intelligent girl.
Okay, same for you as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm grateful that you're here,
Thank you
that
very
you
much.
accept my invite.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor.
And I hope you guys listen to the story. You could relate with the story. If you have questions, write down in the comments below. We can try to answer them. Follow me on my social medias. Let's keep talking about immigration, about how you choose Alberta to live. and your ups and downs. Let's focus on the ups. The ups helps us to get up.
Yes.
So I hope you guys enjoy this chapter and stay tuned with us and stay tuned with Why Alberta Pod. Okay?